What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Me TV Reviews. I am your host, Mo, and today, you guys, we're going to be discussing Reasonable Doubt. That's right, y'all. This is Season 2, Episode 6, titled, This Can't Be Life. Y'all, I hope y'all have had a wonderful weekend, okay? We have made it to Sunday Fun Day, so it's time to be wrapping up that relaxation, y'all. Okay, hopefully you carry that last little tidbit of relaxation into the beginning of your week. All right, and hopefully y'all have a great week, whatever that looks like for you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead, get into the synopsis real quick, and then we're going to get right into the episode. So the synopsis for this one is Jax has found herself in a dangerous situation once again, while Lucy's past resurfaces. Adrian takes the stand, revealing new secrets as Lewis struggles to keep one of his own. That baby has got to be his. So we open up the scene where we left off with the last episode, and that is Jax and Adrian finna get ready to have a discussion, but we know he got the strap behind his back. And so she's trying to talk to him, trying to figure out what's going on. He's basically telling her that she needs to mind her business. Quit snooping. The closer and closer you get, the more in danger you become. Okay, because I think I forgot to mention that Evan had told Adrian that he needed to get rid of Jax. He needed to make sure that she stayed silent. Okay, she getting too close. And so he told her to basically just quit snooping, girl. Okay? You love your life, you cherish your life, then you will stop. And so as he's trying to warn her to back up, he done pulled out the strap, and so now she's starting to get all this PTSD, right? Jax warns Adrian of the fact that Daniel is waiting to hear from her every 6 minutes. And so if he doesn't, then he's been instructed to call the police. And so he then gives up the strap and she tells Daniel to come on in. So Adrian says before he tells them anything, he wants immunity. Okay. And so when she finally makes it home, she got to do some depressurizing. It's been a long day, real stressful, and so she downs 2 shots real quick and she goes straight for Lewis to eat him right on up. But unfortunately, when she's trying to get him to stand at attention, ain't nothing happening. But we know it's because, he's still holding on to this huge secret about Tony. And so instead of him trying to, I guess, dive a little bit further or let her know a little bit further that something is happening with him internally that he's holding back, he flips her over, and I think they try to plant the sheets, but it falls flat. So the next day at work, they're talking strategy, and I think they ended up taking Adrian to a safe house to protect him from Evan, or at least that's what they're wanting, right? But now he's being called to testify for the prosecution, so they need to try to have him confess on the stand, because if not, this could make things way worse for Chanel. Now, they know that the prosecution is going to try to make it seem like Chanel knew about this money, and of course, her and Adrian were going to run away after she ended JT's life. And so they have to figure out a way to get Adrian to confess so they can get Chanel off. So Jax gives this very detailed play-by-play of how she'd be able to work her magic to get him to do so. And it's so good, y'all, that even Corey has to give her props. She has definitely stepped her game up for him, and he appreciates that. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Corey. The tension is just building, y'all. So over at Lucy's, she's practicing for court while she's waiting on her son to come outside. But they can't leave when he finally does because she done caught a flat tire. And I was like, how long she been waiting on him? And in my head, I knew that this was purposefully done. This wasn't an accidental, oh, I just randomly caught a flat tire. So everybody's waiting on her to show up to court. And Corey was like, well, at least it ain't the black folks. And I was like, because I know I'd be struggling. But I guess it's one thing you'll be on time for, right? And so she finally rolls up in there and she's looking a little worse for wear. But it's time to get proceedings underway. And so again, both sides put up decent arguments while questioning the 911 dispatcher who took the call, and then the realtor that was actually helping Chanel try to find a new house. And so the 911 dispatcher claims that Chanel seemed guilty because her call wasn't as victim-oriented as she's used to people when they make their phone calls. she's used to more people giving her details about the victim versus Chanel saying, "Can you please come pick him up because I can't look at him any longer." And so this just struck her as very odd. And so in her mind, she's guilty because of the comments that she made. But you never know how people will respond in the face of stressful situations. So you can't really say with expertise that she's guilty just because of the comment that she made. And so then the realtor testifies that Adrian did accompany her to one house that she ended up showing Chanel, but she was downsizing. So like where Chanel was looking at, I believe those houses were like $3 million, whereas the house that she was currently living in with JT was about $8 million. So if she was supposed to be running away with him, why would she downsize? And so then Corey also mentions how, or the realtor also mentions how she was also looking for a house that would cater to her kids' needs because her youngest daughter loved to swim, and so she wanted to make sure that whatever house she decided to purchase had a swimming pool. And I mean, both sides are doing well. Honestly, this may end in a mistrial if they can't get somebody to confess or pinpoint who's really responsible for JT's death. We'll see. So at home, Naeem is doing a TikTok when Spencer comes in and threatens to tell on her for this video, but she threatens to expose his secret drawer. You know, that one that mom and dad don't know about if he does. So, I guess it's a little tit for tat. They both just growing up, y'all. They're trying to live out here. So at work, Corey is having wet dreams about Jackson and really turns him on in his dream when she admits when she's wrong and gives him positive affirmations. Got to boost that ego a little bit. And so he got to get it together. Speaking of getting it together, y'all, it seems like Jax feels like everything is falling into place for once. So why in the world is she still feeling like she's waiting on the other shoe to drop? Girl, because it is. It's finna get ready to happen. So she was down there talking to the therapist, and the therapist advises her to just live in the moment and cherish it because it's only a matter of time till a curveball gets thrown your way, okay? But I mean, that's gonna happen. So while these good moments are here, enjoy them. Relish in the good times. And so it may come quicker than she expects, honey, because Lewis is insisting that Tony take a paternity test before this baby is born. Now, he ended up catching up to her in the carpool line, and she was like, boy, I ain't got time for this. And he was like, look, I ain't one of these no good ninjas that don't care about my responsibilities. I want to be there if this is my child. And so they agreed to me later on in the day at his doctor's office. I was like, Lewis, you is really going above and beyond the call of duty at this point. But I guess, you going to have to because she clearly don't want you to be involved. So Jax meets with Daniel and he fills her and Corey in on the fact that he found out that Evan was currently being on his Jeffrey Epstein while catering to his top clients from the gambling ring. And so he's got to go get some more information about it. And so after he leaves, Corey's dad, Jeremiah, comes strolling up. Now, he said that he wanted to see his son in action. I'm like, did you just want some attention? But y'all, he's handsome. Okay, he is a very handsome older man and he seems quite charming too. But he definitely gives off creepy vibes and I'll explain later. So Corey is feeling the tighter squeeze to perform super well today in court, because his dad is there. And he does. He turns his A game on. So they ended up putting JT's former football coach on the stand, and he testifies to hearing Chanel attempting to instigate a fight by cursing him out, cursing JT out, that is, and getting physical with him, saying that, she was scratching him, or he showed up to practice the next day with all these scratches, this, that, and the third. And so he had tried to tell JT to divorce her behind. And honestly, maybe if he'd listened, he might still be here. Objection, Your Honor. That's what Corey say. And so now it's his turn. And so he mentions that it's possible that JT got those scratches during practice, right? And so the coach was like, I guess. And then he also brings up the fact that the coach had testified for another player. And while he was testifying for him, he was swearing up and down that this dude was a good guy, right? But then He did all that just for old boy to turn around and get convicted for offing his wife. And so Lucy was like, relevance to this case? And he was like, clearly there's a bias there. I mean, he gonna try to say what he can to make his players look upstanding. Duh. No further questions. So after trial, Jeremiah offers to take Corey and Jax out. And Jax is always down for a good time and some good conversation. And Corey, he really don't want to go, but I mean, what other choice do he have? So Adrian meets with Evan to confirm that he got Jax to back off of his case. However, he does also notify him that he's been subpoenaed to testify for the prosecution. And so Evan was like, okay, well, partner, do you. You done did what you was supposed to do. Jax is backing up. Chanel knows what she's supposed to do and whose money is whose. You just make sure you stay out my way. So Jax is having drinks with Corey and Jeremiah when Corey has to step away for a phone call, right? So while he's gone, Jeremiah literally tries to hit on Jax, asking her, has she ever been with an older man? And she was like, well, if you consider my husband an older man by 3 years, then yeah. And so he tells her, she ends up telling him, of course, that she's married. And he was like, well, I tried, but you know what they say, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And so Jax really did take offense to that. And I would too, because you know how and I'm pretty sure guys had to go through this, but I don't think they went through it as often as young girls did. So when you're growing up and you're starting to develop, you'll have guys, way, way older doing all the cat calls and stuff like that. And, initially you think that that's okay. Okay. Back in my day, we were like, oh, okay. But now growing up and knowing and being exposed to a lot of things, I'm like, man, that was hella creepy. And so it's just creepy for him to sit up here and try to hit on her when she probably could be his daughter, honestly. And so she was like, ain't that what a rapist would say? So when Corey comes back, she ends up making up an excuse to leave. And so after she walks away, he's like, what did you say to her? And he was like, oh, I didn't say nothing. And so Jax is getting in the car and I think she gets a phone call from Sally. I think that's Sally calling her. And so she was like, girl, you won't believe what just happened. Like, finna get ready to start a conversation, right? When Sally ends up telling her that her mama is in the hospital. And so she makes a beeline for the hospital. Meanwhile, Daniel and Crystal are leaving the country club when she gets noticed by the valet. So the valet likes her. And Daniel strongly suggests that even though she is married with a spouse, he don't know that. So why don't you go over there, do your little thing, okay? Work your womanly wiles and take advantage of the situation to see if you can get us some more information about Evan. Because the valet people know everything. They hear everything. They see everything. So go over there and work your magic, girl. So at the hospital, Jax is checking on her mom. And she's fine, y'all. Okay, she just got a little dizzy while she was trying to intermittently fast. But she tells Jax that she's trying to lose a few pounds so her and her boo thing Kevin can go on this cruise in a little bit. And so she was like, if you feel like he's pressuring you to be something that you're not, you don't have to change who you are for a minute. And she was like, girl, no. This is quite the opposite. This is the first time that I've been truly happy in a long time. So I'm just out here trying to figure it out, girl. You got a good man in Lewis. Meanwhile, the rest of us is still trying to play catch up. Okay? I'm trying to get it how I live. So as she's leaving the hospital, Corey calls and he's clearly upset with his dad's behavior and how he was trying to hit on Jax, but there's no getting through to him, so he stopped wasting his breath a long time ago. But Jax is trying to give him some pointers that she's learning from therapy, and so as she's giving him these pointers, she actually ends up having to practice what she preached because she then sees Lewis leaving the hospital. And so she tells Corey that she's going to call him back. And so she tries to call Lewis, right? And she can visibly see him ignoring her call, like screening her call. And so she calls him again. And then this time he picks up. But when he picks up, she asks him, what you doing? Where you at? What's up? And so he lies and tells her that he's at work. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a conversation had. But y'all, when I tell you I was waiting on Tony to walk out, that would have been the coup de grace. I would have wanted to see that. Because I wanted to see how Jax was going to respond, okay? Jax looked like she'll pop it off right then and there. And I ain't talking about on Tony. I'm talking about on him. And so, like I said, conversation is going to have to be had later. But clearly Jax's feelings are hurt because he's sitting up here lying to her. And she's not quite sure why. When, they're supposed to be making some progress. Or at least they were. So JT mama ends up meeting with Lucy's boss. I don't know Lucy boss name, y'all. And I don't know JT mama name. I feel like her name is Marva, something like that. Either way, y'all, they meet up. And she meets with him because she wants to discuss the case. And she wants to figure out why this case is going the way it's going. This is what's supposed to be a slam dunk, sir. What the hell is happening? And so she basically ends up threatening to be his downfall regarding his reelection if they lose this case. And so, of course, he took it right on over to talk to Lucy. And we found out someone intentionally ended up slashing her tire, which I figured as much. And that she's also receiving these death threats. Y'all, that's one profession that I would be so nervous to work because it don't matter what side of the courtroom you're on, whether you're a prosecutor, you definitely gonna be having to look behind you at all times, keep your head on the swivel. But if you are a public defender or if you work for the defense and you lose a case, now regardless of whether or not your client is guilty, if you lose that case and depending on how profile it is, yeah. Did y'all hear that story about the judge that just got shot in his chambers? Y'all, what is happening? Like, I could not work in that profession. Okay, so much respect to those that do. If I did work in that type of profession, I would be like a law clerk or something, because I wouldn't want to be like in the forefront where people could see me like that. I just wouldn't. And so Jax ends up going home to find Lewis saying that they need to talk. And so she's thinking that it's finna be about earlier. But no, it's for Naima because he done found out that she got this secret account. And so they end up snatching her phone from her, right, for a whole week. And Jax emphasizes that the next time she need not lie. And as she's saying that, y'all, she looking dead at Lewis. Lewis ain't reading the room. He ain't making no eye contact. Everything is on the floor. And so later on when they get into bed, he's hella quiet, right? And so she was like, are you okay? Are we good? And he says, yeah, everything's fine. I'm just tired. It's been a long day. Now, as he's saying that, y'all, we can see from his side that he is doing the silent cry. That baby is his, y'all. So the next morning, she goes for a run with Autumn, and she's explaining what's going on with her and Lewis, and Autumn suggests that she give him the benefit of the doubt. He may be going through something that he's not ready to talk about just yet. Now, while that's happening, Corey is ready to express his feelings that he done kept pent up for so long, and he is going to his dad. He wants his dad's support on, to support him on all fronts and hold true to his promise that he was going to help Corey try to get Isabel clemency. Y'all know he's been working that case while this case has been going on the entire time. And so he ends up mentioning how he feels ignored, how he's been feeling ignored by his dad, how he's always been living in his shadow, so to speak, how he's never been good enough. And he also mentions how Jax had told him that he had tried to hit on her. Well, of course he did. She's an attractive woman. Why wouldn't I? And he was like, because she's married. That's why. And so he was like, okay, and you should be also. And so his dad then tells him this very endearing story of how his wife, Corey's mom, came through in the clutch when he was working his first national case. Of course, he was hella nervous and it got the best of him. Okay. He blew up the bathroom. He had to change suits and all the things. And so she ended up bringing him like a whole new suit. And so because she was there in the clutch for him, he credited her with all of his success. He was just lucky enough to have her in his corner. And so he really wants Corey to try to find someone like his mom to be in his corner like he had her in his, so he can get propelled to the next level. Behind every good man is an even better woman or a better half. So anyway, and as far as him offending Corey, he apologizes that he feels like he's been ignored all this time, but he's going to try to do better, okay? He don't do all that new age stuff. He don't express his feelings. He barely go to the doctor, okay? He don't know about all of that stuff, but he's going to try for the sake of his son and his son's happiness. Thanks, Dad. That's all he's asking. So before court the next day, Daniel ends up telling her that thanks to Crystal, her being Jax, Daniel tells Jax that thanks to Crystal, the valet guy revealed that all the guys at the country club hate Evan with a passion, and they are willing to testify against him if he ever has to go to court. So now he's ready to get these documents signed by all these people and these statements, and then he's going to send it off to the F, the B, and the I. So it's time for Adrian to take the stand in court, and Lucy establishes that Chanel and Adrian were having this affair before JT ended up dying, and that she was planning a life with him and her girls after JT. Okay. Pretty damning information, sure, right? I mean, that speaks to a possible motive until Jax gets up there and does her thing. And of course, when she does her thing, she gets him all riled up until he screams that he didn't off JT, but boy, did he want to do it. He wish he would have did it. And so he says that he saw JT be violent with her once before, but he never said anything. Okay. He felt like that wasn't his place to speak on it at that time. And ever since, he has had a real deep disdain for JT. He does admit that he lied to Chanel and told her that he had 30 million sitting in the bank for them to live off of, but all she had to do was get away from JT and run away with him. But in reality, that wasn't his money. In fact, it was JT's and Evan's from an illegal gambling site that they had started. And so now you can hear all the all the audible gasp in the courtroom. And Chanel is looking at Jax like, what the hell are you doing? And so Jax comes to sit back down, and Jax tells her that this is what he wanted. He wanted all of this to come out because he wanted to keep her safe, because he does love her. And so Jax turns over all the evidence that she has on Evan in exchange for Adrian's immunity and his safety until he can testify against Evan. And so she tells them to take this win because this is the only one that they're going to get from her. And so as Lucy and her boss are getting ready to go on air and formally arrest and charge Evan with all of those counts of illegal things, Jax hears from Crystal about Tony showing up to the hospital for a DNA test. Now, whoever this person was that took the pic sold it to the tabloids, and baby, that payout must have been real enticing because whoever it was ended up quitting their job right after they sent that over to the tabloids and got their check cashed. Or direct deposit, wire transfer, however, okay, end up quitting that job. So she ends up showing Jax the picture. And Jax is looking at it, and y'all, she immediately notices that ace rap that Lewis got, that is her man standing next to Tony. Ain't no way you can explain that. It was only a matter of time, y'all. Y'all knew it was only a matter of time. So Corey is at the bar. And instead of him going to go talk to this pretty lady that just arrived, and she's alone, seems like, he thinks about Jax and decides against it. So y'all know they setting him up, right? She'll be with him within the next 2 or 3 episodes. So Lucy and her son arrive home, and unbeknownst to her, some man is stalking her on the opposite side of the street. Now, I don't know if this is the guy that she's been calling and checking in on at the prison, or if this is the ex-husband that she may be running from in Vegas. I don't know. But either way, it's a man across the street looking dead at her and her son. I just hope that he don't do nothing to them. So Lewis ends up calling his brother to tell him that he's going to tell Jax the big secret tonight about Tony. But by the time he come home, y'all, Jax done already pulled the picture up on the laptop. She done smoked her weed to try to calm her down, but it ain't working. Okay. So when he comes in, he's like, hey, so we got to talk. And she turns her head because her head was turned away from the camera at first. So now she done turned her head back to him and we can see. And clearly you can tell she's been crying. And so she was like, is this about Tony? She simply asked him, is it his baby? And all he can say is, I can explain. And that's the way the episode ends, y'all. What does this mean for Chanel's case? Because now that this is out during Chanel's case, is this going to throw Jax off her game? Is this going to hinder what she's got going on with Chanel's case? This is the absolute wrong time. And thankfully, she's not first chair. Thankfully, Corey is. And so he may just have to step up and step in and show out on her behalf. But y'all know it's just a matter of time, like I said before, she go running into Corey's arms for some comfort. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it, okay? You can reach me at Me and You TV Reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also reach me at My TV Reviews Podcast without the S on the end at gmail.com. Who do y'all think off JT? I know that there has been so much stuff happening on the sidelines. And don't get me wrong, it's good. But why we all here? Because we got to figure out what happened to JT. Who did JT in? I'm thinking it's either the kids or it's Sally. It clearly wasn't Adrian, right? Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about it, okay? I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. Y'all stay safe out there. Have a great start to your week. And until we meet over the airwaves again, I am Mo, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Oh, before I leave, I don't know who did the random rating on Spotify. Y'all know I can only see ratings on, no, I take that lie back. I can see on both of them, but I can see Spotify all the time because of the app, the hosting app that I use. And so I have to log into Apple to see what's going on over there. But thank you to whoever added the rating. I appreciate that. Y'all, please, I know y'all listening. Go ahead and hit the stars on either end of the apps, okay? All it takes is 2 seconds. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Maybe you don't feel like listening to podcasts one day. You can just hop over to YouTube. I'm finna get more consistent because I got a schedule coming up. Y'all, it's so many shows coming out. It's so many shows coming out next month. Let me tell y'all real quick what's happening. Okay, so y'all can be looking forward to just in case y'all want to start these shows with me. Okay, so next month, or sorry, later on this week, we've got 2 shows premiering. We've got Murder in Small Town. I think that's going to be on Fox. And then we've got Grotesquerie, which has Niecy Nash in it. That's going to be on FX and Hulu. Then High Potential is already out. Okay, I'm going to start doing that one soon. I think that's on CBS. And that's about the stay-at-home mom who's hella smart. And then we've got Only Murders in the Building, which is already out. That's on Hulu. Y'all, American Horror Stories. I don't know how I feel about that one. We'll see. I think that I might just do that one just because I need something else to fill in Spooky Ween along with that show that I told y'all I was gonna do, Who Done It. It's a game show mystery, a mystery game show. So I'm gonna do those two just for Spooky Ween. But honestly, y'all, if the stories ain't good that particular week, I may just not, just because I have so many other shows that I'm reviewing. Um, Penguin is also already out. That's on HBO Max or whatever they're calling it nowadays. And then you've got Elsbeth coming back at the end of October, and Matlock. So the first episode of Matlock starring Kathy Bates, shout out to her. Y'all, I absolutely love Matlock. I used to go to sleep to that show. And when I was a kid, Matlock would come on right before the numbers would, but don't tell nobody that, okay? So, so Kathy Bates is gonna be doing the new version of Matlock, and the first episode is gonna come on this Thursday, but then they're gonna take a long hiatus, sort of kind of like what Elsbeth did in the first season, and they're gonna come back in the middle of October, and they're gonna be premiering the same day that Elsbeth is premiering. All right, y'all. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then, okay, y'all, I think this show is almost done, but I'm going to do it anyway just because I love Natasha Rothwell. How to Die Alone. That's on Hulu. And so I'm going to try to start doing that one on Sundays, and I'm going to try to do 2 episodes at once. That way we can get shows out hopefully every day of the week, maybe except for Friday and Saturday. Because I need some days to recharge, y'all. All right, that's it. I love y'all. Y'all stay safe out there. All right. And until we meet over the airwaves again, I am Mo, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.